Welcome to episode 2 of the PA course. In today's video we're going to talk about creating your system, because everyone who trades has a different system. Either if you're trading a different strategy, even if you trade the same strategy like price action, every trader has small tweaks, small things they do differently than other traders. Like and subscribe as always, I'll really appreciate that, and I'll get into the video. This will be the last boring episode of this series. In the start of the trading course I also had 1-2 boring videos like what is trading and maybe support and resistance for advanced people. That was a bit boring, and this video will also be a bit more talking than being things on the charts. But after this video setups will come, real examples, concrete examples will come on how to trade. Just stick with me for this video. So having a trading system, a system is not just entering where your TP is, your stop loss is. That's not your system. Your system is how your layout looks like. What broker do you use? Do you journal? What is your risk management? Literally anything, and more specifically what you do before and after the trade, not necessarily what you do during the trade, because may sound stupid, but this is a trading view setup I have had for I think my entire life as a trader. It's just the way I like it. These colors, I don't need filled colors or blue colors. This background, I like it. I don't need light mode. These are stupid examples, but when you start trading out, just find what's the most efficient, remember that word efficient, and most nice for you, and just use that. Why would you, because some trader uses white, why would you put on light mode if it doesn't work for you? If you think, oh my eyes are burning but that guy is doing it, no, just do what's the best for your own. And then also one important tip is you have those folders here on Google. I disabled it because there is a lot and it's a bit messy for the video, but just have everything in there. So a link to TradingView, to your exchange or broker funded, to your journal sheet, to everything you can use, to your P&L, to whatever you can use. Have it all in one place so you can easily go there. You don't have to open a new tablet, search for something, or go to your Google Drive or whatever. As a beginner you also have to have some set rules, and I don't mean you have to have these very specific rules, only trade at night, only long, this, that. No, but more general rules, but very important rules, like only trade crypto. As a beginner, don't switch from markets, don't trade on every exchange, stick to one exchange and trade only crypto. For example, only trade during the week, don't trade during weekends, because as you know crypto is open 24/7, but just don't trade during weekends. Have a risk to reward ratio of at least 2 or 3 or 1, things like that. Don't have to stick to these like exactly. For example, if you say my risk reward ratio like me has to be at least 3, but you see a trade and the risk to reward ratio is 2.9, you can take it. But the line between adapting your system and seeing what you can do without breaking your rules and just thinking, oh, I'm doing it right, but you're actually not following the system anymore, it's a very thin line, but more about that later in the video. So as mentioned, between the line of adapting and literally losing your system and not following your system anymore is a very thin line. But let me show you an example of a positive thing on how you can adapt. Let's say you trade a reversal setup. After 20 reversal setups, let me draw that very quickly. Let's say you do this, like from the bottom. This is your entry, is the stop loss. Let's just say this. You only trade reversals. After 20 reversal trades, you journal of course, you go back and you analyze those. You see out of those 20, you got stopped out on 18 of those. Your hit rate is extremely low, and then you may think, oh, skip this setup. But instead, you're someone who's a bit more intelligent. You're going to analyze it, because no way I learned something which is proven to be right and my win rate is like 5%, 10%, then I'm clearly doing something wrong. But let's say in this example you're not doing anything wrong, just the probability wasn't there. You maybe took a bit of the wrong levels, etc., just some very small mistakes. But let's say, for example, this is your setup, and after price hit your entry, 18 of the 20 times price hit stop loss and you got stopped out. But also 18 of the 20 times after you got stopped out, price immediately went to your TP. So you're at least doing something right. And then of course we learn different types of reversals, more about that later in the course. But for example, a type we don't learn is wait for the low, like if it's an opponent level, price will wick it. So for example, if this is the level, price will wick it. You guys know what a wick is by now. And then immediately go back here. Why not just entry here? When the wick happened, you see price picked up all the liquidity and is back up, and you just enter here, because then you avoid being stopped out because of the wick. Then you enter here and price goes to TP. I personally wouldn't do this in my strategy, because I don't think it will work for me. But imagine that's the case for you, you get stopped out because of the wick, but price always goes to your TP, or your levels are good, just unlucky with the stop loss, you start playing with the stop loss a bit lower, a bit higher, but it doesn't work. Then you do this, you just smash when the wick like recovered, and that works for you, then it works for you. And this is a positive thing about how you can adapt. And there are also negative things. For example, very famous thing, or people laugh about it, if your hit rate is negative, just short when you want to long, and long when you want to short. When you want to short, just do the opposite thing. That's not adapting, that's just playing and removing everything you learn from your system, and basically almost gambling already. But this is, as mentioned, a very positive example on how to adapt and create your own system. Because let's say, I know people who started trading price action, and after a year or two, they look back at what they started with and they didn't even understand it anymore. They said, this is a different strategy. What was I doing? They adapted so much, and of course with that adaptation their hit rate went up. So that's before you start trading. And I just said after you took a couple of trades and you analyze it, and now you can have some adaptation after, let's say, 50 or 100 trades. That might sound like a lot, and for some people who trade only 1 or twice a week, that's a lot. But in price action, you can surely, if you're behind the charts often and you have the time, you can surely trade 10 to 20 times a week. And it doesn't have to be 100, can also be after 50, or if you say I only trade reversals, it can be after 20. You just have to have enough data that luck isn't a factor anymore, or that the probability isn't a factor anymore. It's just enough examples. So let's say after 100 trades, you traded crypto and you traded Forex. Your hit rate on crypto is 80% and your hit rate on Forex is 30%. Then it's very clear you just only start trading crypto because the hit rate is high, and at the end of the day, everything is about the money. As said, when you start trading, you don't have to have that money mindset, but you can start adapting to that money very fast. That's something very important, because you also have people, of course, I'm not making that much money on Forex, but I have to trust the process and keep trading Forex. That's also not what you have to do. So you have to find a balance between those two, between you trading for money, but you also don't want to rush it purely for the money. You get what I mean? So for that example, I've already also mentioned that in the beginner course. If you see that, just only start trading crypto, or also example I already mentioned, if you analyze it after 100 trades, you took 50 longs, 50 shorts, that won't happen, that exact number, but let's say that for the example, and you see that your hit rate on longs is way higher, then just only long, or not only long, but take more longs and shorts. It's as simple as that, and that's how you can adapt and create your own system. Because me and you can trade the exact same strategy with the exact same examples that we both learned, but maybe you trade that on Bitcoin with only longs, and I trade that on gold with only shorts. Those are extremes, but you get what I mean. So to finish this off, this was the purpose of a system. It helps you filter out luck and increase your probability. It increases your productivity in the sense of, before you trade, you don't have to spend all the energy into, I don't like this color, or where can I find this, or where can I find this again. No, you have everything in one place, and all your preferences are already set. After the trade, you know how you can analyze it, when to analyze it, etc. That's creating a system. And I also didn't mention that, but I wanted to mention it. If you like to journal on paper, do it on paper. If you like to have some sort of steps, what you have to do every trade, write it down. It's not childish, it's not like unprofessional. If it helps you, it helps you. At the end of the day, if it helps you, then it's good. So to end of this video, I know it was maybe a bit of a boring video, but this is very important. After this, we get more into the charts with real life examples, as I mentioned. But creating a system, if you think by now, what was this video, I maybe understand it, but I don't think it's that important, or yeah, I didn't really need this video to know that. It's all good, but in my opinion, this is important, creating your own system. But for now, I want to thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys in episode 3. Bye.